Conference, Party delegates, Mr. Chairman, it is an honour and a privilege for me to move this motion today. And might I say, what a difference a year makes. Last year, if you recall, I made a speech from this platform in my then role as Minister for Regional Development, which I had the honour to hold on behalf of this party for over 4 years. I said then that we should never say never about entering into opposition, and here we are. I also said at the recent special party executive meeting that when the then Finance Minister tabled a paper at the executive meeting outlining the voluntary exit scheme, I had no idea that I would be the first person out through the door. But let me say this. Both the toxins within local politics and the return to provisional IRA murder on the streets of our capital city left us with no choice but to exit the executive. And it was no easy decision. We are and we remain a party committed to devolution and power sharing. But it must always be based on solid democratic foundations and not subject to the whims of paramilitaries or the orders of an army council. We have a track record of taking decisions that are tough, decisions which at the time of making bring us in for severe criticism from our political opponents, but decisions which ultimately always prove to be the right ones for all of the people of Northern Ireland. We did it in 1998, and I believe we've done it again in 2015. We have had the pathetic jibes from our opponents about our motivations. But let me be clear. This was about taking decisive action. We will not turn a blind eye to the darkness that still lurks in society, regardless of what others may want us to do in the interests of political expediency. And let me also say, if this party had presented the outcome of the independent assessment into paramilitary groups 10 years ago, we would have been torn to bits by the UUP. Mr. Chairman, who now are the rollover Unionists? It is devastating that 17 years on from the Belfast Agreement, we're still lurching from crisis to crisis. And during the shaky first steps of power sharing, there were many hurdles for our party and the SDLP to get over. And yes, the Assembly faced suspension on numerous occasions. But it is important to remember that those crises were never down to the relationships between the parties that then occupied OFM-DFM. In 1998, power sharing was viewed as an opportunity to build a society on foundations of mutual trust and respect. And how the DUP and Sinn Féin have twisted and distorted this vision. Now we have the government of mutual veto. Rather than sharing power, the focus is instead on attempts to overpower each other and undermine the rest of us. And it's little wonder when you look at who the two big blocs are within the executive. And I've seen at first hand the impact the DUP Sinn Féin carve-up has had on decision-making and delivery. Conference, politically, socially, economically, this cannot be as good as it gets. And that's why I'm presenting this motion today, calling for an alternative programme for government, an alternative vision for the future of Northern Ireland. Because as the DUP and others are coming to learn, the Ulster Unionist Party, under the outstanding leadership of Mike Nesbitt, is on the march. We're confident in ourselves and united in our resolve and ability to achieve real and lasting positive change. The days of pushing us around are over. And that is because the prize for us is delivering better for all of our people. Better politics, a better society, a better lifestyle, and a better economy. I'll be honest, being the sole Ulster Unionist minister in the executive wasn't easy. Very often my budget was severely cut and restricted because it didn't fit in with UUP Sinn Féin party political interests. The current political system as operated by the DUP and Sinn Féin makes it easy to play games with the smaller parties in the executive. It needs to be reformed. Of course, we've been there before. Who can forget the shameful treatment of Michael McGimpsey as Health Minister, who, as we always knew he would, has been proven right in the warnings that he gave years ago, of the dangers and the impending crises in our health service. But we should also focus on the positives of our time in government and what was achieved in the Department of Regional Development. Over 4 years, we delivered many major projects, improved and stabilised our water services and left a lasting legacy in sustainable transport. We saw ambitious infrastructural projects started and completed. In the coming weeks, important road schemes such as the A2 Green Island and the A8 Larne will be officially opened. Later on, the town of Macrophelt will have, at long last, a bypass to transform the local network. And finally, after 40 long years of asking, and in time for the 2019 Open Golf Championship in Portrush, the A26 will be upgraded and improved. Other parties may cut the tape and seek to claim the credit, but always remember it was this party that made these schemes happen. We also had the best record in the executive of drawing down European funding. We now have record numbers making journeys by bus and rail, and we made major improvements in the fleet. And of course, we kick-started the cycling revolution. Mr. Chairman, on my visits to other European cities, I've very often been struck by sometimes relatively simple initiatives which make for a healthier and happier environment and lifestyle for places and people. We need to encourage such initiatives in our towns and cities in Northern Ireland. Ulster Unionists have always recognised the need to adapt and embrace new ideas and new methods of doing things. Bettering society is about government putting a sharper focus on things that aren't just good for the pocket, but are also good for the soul. And that's why the arts sector in Northern Ireland cannot continue to be decimated. Only in Northern Ireland could something as inclusive as the arts become so bogged down in party politicking. In any civilised society, the arts are there to question and provoke thought and entertain and reflect all walks of life. And we need to ensure that such ideals are protected and nurtured in Northern Ireland. Otherwise, society will suffer. Just as it does when the clumsy hands of our shared-out government try to put everyone in neat little orange or green boxes. How can we expect society to thrive when we have such binary thinking from the top down? So, over the next hour, you'll hear several Ulster Unionist colleagues and spokespeople outline the beginnings of our alternative programme for government across a range of policy areas. If we are to achieve our vision of becoming the biggest Unionist party again, this document will become a vital first stepping stone. I hope that you will be enthused by what you will hear and that the motion will receive your support. I believe that with hard work and teamwork, we can again lead not only for unionism, but provide to the people of Northern Ireland the positive and progressive leadership it truly yearns and deserves to have. Thank you, and God bless you.